What's up, everyone? Here's a quick fry update before I get to what else I want to talk about, which is the 5 gallon. But I think I'm just going to include this in most of my videos now, just to give you a quick idea on how the growth is going. So, there's a few swimming right in front of you and in the back, and then there's some like in that shell right there. And they're just all around doing their thing. So, yeah, that is about it for the fry. And now I'll go to the 5 gallon, where I'm going to talk about balancing out your tank, kind of, and what you want to strive for in a dirted tank, and what a lot of people do wrong. And so basically, in this tank, I've pretty much reached my balance, which is kind of a loose term, but I technically don't have to do water changes anymore, at least for the next few weeks, but my nitrates have reached a level where the plants can balance them out to about 5 ppm each week. So I've tested the water consecutively for a few weeks now, and it has stayed under 5 ppm both tests. So it's not rising, and I think it even dropped a little bit. So the second test, which was like 2 or 3 weeks after a water change, was a little bit lighter and closer to yellow, which is 0 nitrate, than the first week, so that's even better. But basically, all the waste that the beta is producing is being canceled out by the plants, and in theory, all I have to do are top-offs to replenish water and trace nutrients and stuff like that. But I still will probably do a water change every couple weeks or so. Just, I don't know, I just like doing them, and it's just good for the fish, I guess. Some fish have like hormones that tell them clean water to grow more, and it's just, I don't know, I just like doing them for the heck of it. But in theory, I don't have to. So that's pretty much what I wanted to achieve with this tank, is kind of like a little ecosystem type thing. And in my opinion, dirt is the perfect substrate for that. However, most people kind of take it the other way and try and turn dirt tanks into high-tech tanks, which I think it works out 9 times out of 10 to be a bad idea. But there are some people that have awesome dirt tanks with multiple T5 bulbs and CO2 and stuff like that. But for the planted tank novice or whatever, just someone who's new to tanks, or planted aquariums in general, it's best to not take it too fast, and to just start off low tech like I did. And a lot of you even might remember, I didn't stock this tank with anything for at least, I think, a month, maybe even more. And basically the only reason was to get the plants to grow out. So they fed off basically all the ammonias and stuff from the dirt itself. No other outside sources like fish waste and stuff. And the plants really settled in, and the tank was a lot easier to balance because it's just one source of the ammonia in a dirt tank with no fish. It doesn't really like change as much. When you have a fish, you overfeed sometimes, you underfeed, so it kind of gets out of balance a little bit easier. So if you start off with no fish and just let it roll for a few weeks, I just think, in my experience, you get a little better success. Also, planting very heavily from the start. That's one of the things I did in this one that I didn't do in my last dirt tank, which was the 10-gallon. And if y'all remember that tank, that was a little bit of a disaster at the end. But it was real fun and looked alright. But I mean, as far as my goal, which was to get a nice little ecosystem, it pretty much failed. And partially was because I planted like very minimally at the beginning, and ended up getting like a lot of plants, and then adding fish and CO2 and double the light on this, so I had like 2 watts a gallon and stuff, and it was just kind of on a crash course for failure. And this one, I kind of just relaxed a little bit and let it all play out. And I just think the main thing to do in a dirt tank is to relax and just don't go too fast. And there's a lot of people on the chat on Fish Tank TV that are getting into dirt, and it's just good to take it slow. And my last thing was the tech, like the tech level on this tank would be low tech. I'm only running one 10-watt bulb, which is like you could say it's a compact fluorescent, so it doesn't put out that much like a T5 would, but you could say it's 2 watts a gallon, but it's a little less. And it doesn't really span the whole tank, so it's not as high. But I'm going for low tech, and with dirt you can't really do the high tech thing because it just doesn't put out enough. Like it puts out a lot of nutrients, but it's not as stable. And dirt tanks, you have to wait a while to get them stable, basically. So like Bez and Bezic, I think is his YouTube. It's in my featured channels. He does like Seachem, sand and stuff like that as his substrate, and his tanks are just rocking with CO2 highlight, amazing plants and stuff. If he did that in dirt, I really doubt the results would be the same, and he'd probably run into a lot of trouble. So yeah, this is basically for the people who are on the line of getting dirt and not getting dirt. And it's great if you want to start off with your first dirt tank. I think it's the best substrate you can do for a beginner dirt tank, just because it's just so easy and it's really rewarding if you do it correctly. But that's pretty much it. And like I said, just take it slow, and that's about it. So pretty much just letting you people know who are on the verge of getting a tank or not. It's good. There are a lot of trade-offs as well. Like you really don't want to have to dig up your plants if you can. Like avoid it at all costs because it really does cause quite a mess. And pretty much once you're set with your scape, just let it grow, and it should be rewarding in the end if you do it correctly. So a little bit of info on that. All right, later.